My name is Levi Portenier. I am the QA manager at System76. On the QA team, basically what we do is make sure everything that we're shipping, including software and hardware, is as bug-free as possible before it goes out the door. My background in hardware, it's sort of the classic origin story for everybody who tinkers with hardware, is I took everything apart as a kid just to learn how it works. Made different things out of some of the components, most of them not useful. And then my background in software is I studied computer science at the Metropolitan State University of Denver. There I learned how to program and how a lot of software things work. So I started with OpenSUSE. Actually, it was right about the time that Windows 8 came out. I wasn't too crazy about some of the changes they made in 8, so I wanted to try something new. My uncle had always talked about Linux and how awesome it was. I searched around on the internet, which was the best distro to try, and it came down with a few different choices, Ubuntu, Fedora, Mint, OpenSUSE. I think those were the main 4 that I came down on. I was kind of comparing them, and OpenSUSE has a really cool logo. I just really love the lizard. So that's what I chose at first. It didn't go so well because my old laptop had a Broadcom Wi-Fi chip in it, which meant it didn't work at all. And since it was the first time I ever installed Linux, I didn't know how to fix it. So I quickly wiped that out and installed Mint instead, which had Broadcom drivers included, and I had a good time. I used that for a long time, eventually hopped around a little bit. I did Ubuntu for a while, then Crunchbang for a while. Crunchbang is pretty cool. Then I did Arch with OpenBox for a while because I still loved OpenBox. I just needed a newer base. I tried a few different things in between then, but I was pretty solidly on Arch as my main distro until I came here to System76 when, Pop is just the best, so that's now what I use on everything. It's a pretty free-flowing dynamic, I would say, because all 3 of us are pretty adept, I would say. We all have a pretty good understanding of the engineering process and most of the levels. Some of us are better at certain things, so we'll trade off tasks. But for the most part, all of us know what needs to happen, so we'll just grab something and start working on it. I very rarely need to tell my teammates that they should be working on something else or directing them to do anything in particular. They just know what to do and they do it. I have a great team. Definitely launch. I'm a bit of a keyboard enthusiast, so when we started the whole process of talking about keyboards and designing keyboards, I was sure to throw my hat in the ring right away, just to offer up my vociferous opinions and just try to help guide everybody in the correct direction, because you have to make the right choices when it comes to a keyboard. So one of the keyboards I want to show off is one of the prototypes that we made when we were making launch. Not so much that it's a keyboard that I'm particularly proud of, just I'm mostly proud of my role in making launch and getting to be able to be part of that. So these prototypes, and these were the later prototypes, there were some other attempts that didn't go quite so well along the way. But what we would do is we would punch these aluminum top plates with the same laser and the same press brakes and everything that we used to make Thaleo out of sheets of aluminum, same aluminum we used to make Thaleo. And then after that, I would put all of the switches in, and then I would hand wire them, and these are all hand wired matrices. There's all the diodes in there, wires, they all connect to an Arduino Pro Micro that was a little bit short on inputs, so I took 2 from the LED pins. But after that, it was a very nice working keyboard. And so much so that this one is actually filthy. I don't know who is using it, but it's kind of gross.
But you're proud of the final launch, right?
I am extremely proud of the final launch. This one is mine. As you can see, I've done some things with keycaps. They're just kind of silly looking, and I really liked the colors, so I threw them on there, even though they don't exactly fit right. It says plus and a sideways enter, but they work for me, and I touch type, so I don't necessarily need accurate legends. Oh, and I have new switches in these. These are box navies. So they're the same as the Jades, but they just have a little bit heavier spring because I have very strong fingers. And then probably my first enthusiast keyboard was my ErgoDox. And this looks nothing like it looked when I first got it. I've swapped switches out of it probably at least 6 times. It's had probably a dozen different kinds of keycaps on it. I'm pretty happy with it now, so it'll probably stay this way for a while. But when I got it, it was a kit, so I had to solder all the components into the PCB and assemble the case. It was a very fun process, and that's, I think, probably what gave me the keyboard bug. Well, really big, I hope. I think we have a lot to offer. We're probably the coolest company I've ever heard of. Being a part of it is just such an honor. Everybody I work with is amazing. And I think the products that we offer are really cool, and they're a really big value add to any customer that just needs a general computing device or a keyboard or servers. We do those too. And I think we make really powerful tools with a lot of attention to detail, and I think they're really quality products.